All right, we're taking off Agua Dulce. Really rural, quiet, but a pretty hazy day. Good to have you with us, Dennis. Dennis with the NPCA. Tell us about the work that you're doing and why it's important.
Hi, Bruce. Hi, everyone. I am the Los Angeles Program Manager for the National Parks Conservation Association. We are a 100-year-old organization that was founded to protect our national parks.
Boy, that sounds like a really important effort. What are we going to be looking at exactly, and what are we looking at here?
Today, we're going to be taking you on an aerial tour of the rim of the valley, which I believe is the last piece of the puzzle in terms of leaving a lasting conservation legacy here in the Los Angeles area. So the rim of the valley represents an opportunity to help protect native habitat, wildlife corridors, provide recreation opportunities for LA area residents, and it would do that by expanding the role of the National Park Service in the region. And the Park Service would be able to work with local communities to protect these open spaces, to restore native habitat, to do research on wildlife, and to plan appropriate recreational opportunities in these areas. So what we're looking at here are what's called the Verdugo Mountains. The Verdugos are really a 14 square mile gem of open space that's been protected on the eastern edge of the San Fernando Valley. And even though it's a small open space area, it provides habitat for mountain lions, bobcats, coyote, deer, and a wide range of other species. The only problem with the Verdugos is they're kind of isolated right now. They kind of exist as an island. And one of the reasons why we're trying to expand the boundaries of the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area is so that the Park Service can work in these regions, places like the Verdugos, and help protect the native habitat and the wildlife corridors that exist there.
Well, you can really see how these great open spaces and natural areas they're totally surrounded by development. Crazy, but it's wonderful to be able to try to get these corridors and you can almost see them from the air, what needs to be done.
So we're coming upon the Santa Clarita Valley right now and the city of Santa Clarita, which is now actually the third largest city in Los Angeles County. And Santa Clarita is really critical because it lies in the middle of several key natural regions in the area, including the San Gabriel Mountains, the Santa Monica Mountains, Santa Susana Mountains, and the Los Padres National Forest. The city of Santa Clarita has actually been on the forefront of trying to protect open space and wildlife corridors. But as you can see, as we come across the interchange here, there are formidable barriers to wildlife in the region that really put them at risk of being hit by cars, becoming more genetically isolated because they can't move to other areas. And that's an obstacle to wildlife in the region that the rim of the valley is helping to address. So what we're looking at now is what's called the New Hall Pass Interchange. This is as you can see, a pretty monstrous highway interchange. At some points, it actually is 21 lanes wide. These are the type of barriers that wildlife in the region are facing as they try to find new areas to find new mates, to find appropriate feeding grounds. This is a problem throughout the Southern California area. But the rim of the valley will hopefully preserve those open spaces near interchanges like this, which allow wildlife to continue to pass through the region. So what we're looking at now are the Santa Susana Mountains. And the Santa Susanas are so critical to the region because just north of here is the 1 million acre Los Padres National Forest. And just south of here is the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. But in order for wildlife to be able to move between those areas, the Santa Susana Mountains play a critical role as a wildlife corridor. And because of research by the National Park Service, we know that mountain lions, deer, other species, move through this area. But it's also at risk because of development, because of highway construction, of all the barriers that are, that face wildlife throughout the region.
Man, that's a lot of activity around here. Now, tell me a little more about the region, because you guys are doing great work to be able to, conserve and keep some of these open spaces, because it looks like it's few and far between when you get closer to the city.
So again, with the rim of the valley and the Park Service playing a role in this region, we can hopefully help protect those wildlife corridors, restore native habitat, and make sure that the Santa Susanas continue to serve as a bridge between the Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area and the Los Padres National Forest. The Santa Susanas are also also contain a lot of critical historic and cultural resources. Throughout the region, you'll see Native American, artifacts, remnants of past Native American villages that the Park Service can also play a role in helping to interpret, protect. So right now we're flying directly over the LA River. Now, unfortunately, in the 1930s, the LA River was channelized by the Corps of Engineers in response to several flooding events and loss of much life and property. Unfortunately, in the process, it destroyed most of the natural habitat along the river. But right now, there's an effort to restore the LA River and bring it back to its natural state and make it a recreational and ecological resource again for the region. And that's again where the River of the Valley comes in. The Park Service could come in to help restore some of that native habitat. There are areas of the river now where it's retained its natural bottom, and if you visit them, it feels like you're in a natural river. You'll see a tremendous amount of wildlife, and you can actually paddle some of those areas. And what we want to do is bring that back and really restore the river and make it a resource and a recreational opportunity for Angelenos again. So what we're coming upon now is what's called the Sepulveda Basin. This is a recreation area. Lake Balboa is a recreational lake that's allows for boating and other activities, and basically all that feeds into the LA River. Well, thank you, Bruce, and thank you to EcoFlight. This has been a tremendous opportunity for us to talk about the Rim of the Valley and why it's such an important issue. We believe that it's an opportunity to protect the Mediterranean ecosystem that we have left in the LA area, to connect key natural areas and protect wildlife corridors and the wildlife that need them to survive. And it also addresses cultural resources and historic sites in the region and making sure that they're protected and those stories are told through the National Park Service. So the Rim of the Valley is a real important campaign. If you want to find out more about the campaign and where it's at, you can visit us on Twitter at ROTV Coalition, or follow us on Facebook at Rim of the Valley Campaign. Right now, we're working on legislation to make this a reality, and we need your support.